Imagine waking up one day to find out you've just inherited a fortune, or hit the jackpot after watching one of our money prayer videos. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the truth. Over 70% of people who suddenly come into wealth lose it all within a few short years. Why? Because they weren't ready, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. In today's video, we're diving into the Buddhist way to handle wealth wisely, using mindfulness, balance, and inner peace to guide your every decision. If you've ever wondered what to do with sudden riches, stay tuned. This could change your life forever. Although it is incredibly rare, there are moments in life when one may unexpectedly receive a massive influx of wealth. This often happens through inheritance, perhaps from a deceased relative, or by luck, through activities like winning the lottery. But very few people are ready to handle such fortune wisely, and the result? They lose it just as quickly as they gain it. Statistically speaking, over 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 3 to 5 years. Why? Because they never learned how to build or manage wealth. They have no strategy, and their eagerness to spend often leads them down the wrong path. This is where the Buddhist principle of mindfulness and restraint becomes crucial. Instead of letting money control you, pause and reflect on how it can serve your true purpose. Now, before we begin, we would love to hear from you. If you suddenly came into a fortune, how would you handle it? Would you focus on paying off debt, investing, or something else? And how would you apply mindfulness and balance to guide your decisions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're excited to see how the Buddhaverse community would approach this life-changing moment. Now let me guide you through 15 mindful actions to take if you ever find yourself with a sudden fortune. Remember, it's not about the money, it's about the mindset you bring to it. 1. Keep it quiet. Practice noble silence. Our first step aligns with the Buddhist practice of noble silence. When you come into wealth, your initial instinct might be to share the news with everyone. You may feel the urge to tell friends, family, or even enemies. However, just like practicing silence in meditation allows us to gain clarity, keeping your fortune to yourself initially will give you space to think clearly. Announcing your newfound wealth can attract unwanted attention and energy. As the Buddha taught, peace is found in simplicity and not in flaunting your gains. Stay silent, reflect, and share only when the time is right. 2. Pay off your debts. Free yourself from samsara. Debt is like a modern-day form of suffering, or samsara, trapping us in a cycle of stress and anxiety. The moment you receive that money, the first thing you should do is clear your debts. By doing this, you're liberating yourself from the burden of financial suffering. But be mindful, once your debts are gone, avoid the temptation to take on new ones. In Buddhism, attachment leads to suffering, and so does the attachment to material possessions. Freeing yourself from debt is a step toward living more freely and peacefully. 3. Don't quit your job right away. Maintain right effort. The next point ties into the Buddhist teaching of right effort. You might think that quitting your job immediately after coming into wealth is the dream scenario, but sudden idleness can lead to dissatisfaction. We are wired for productivity, for contributing something meaningful. Instead of quitting, take a step back and assess how this new situation changes your relationship with work. The Buddha taught that meaningful work done mindfully contributes to our sense of purpose and contentment. So, continue with your daily efforts, and remember, money might give you freedom, but inner peace comes from purposeful living. 4. Let the money sit. Practice patience and mindfulness. As the Buddha often emphasized, mindfulness and patience are essential to making wise decisions. After receiving a large sum of money, let it sit for at least 6 months before making any major moves. In this time, practice non-attachment. Don't give in to the urge to spend impulsively. This period allows you to adjust mentally and emotionally to your new situation. Over time, you'll notice that your initial desires to spend may change, just as our thoughts shift during meditation. Give yourself this space, and you'll see that wisdom often arises with time. What's the first thing you would do if a sudden windfall came your way? Would you let it sit like we suggest, or jump into action? Let us know in the comments. 5. Invest in yourself. Seek wisdom, not wealth. In Buddhism, the pursuit of knowledge and self-improvement is considered a path toward enlightenment. Before you start spending, invest in yourself. Learn about financial literacy, develop new skills, and grow as a person. It's not enough to have money. You need to understand how to manage it wisely. If you don't, that wealth will slip through your fingers, as fleeting as any material possession. Remember the Buddhist teaching that true wealth lies in wisdom, not material goods. Educate yourself and you will safeguard your fortune for years to come. 6. Stick with the right financial advisor. Trust in right company. In Buddhism, there's an important teaching about the right company. The people you surround yourself with will either elevate you or lead you astray. If you've inherited money from a wealthy relative, it's likely they had a trusted financial advisor. This person has proven their worth by safeguarding your relative's wealth. Resist the urge to switch to a new advisor just because you've come into money. Be mindful of who you trust with your fortune. Stick with someone who has a proven track record, just as you would stick with a mentor who's guided you wisely on the path to enlightenment. 7. Live simply, even with wealth. Embrace simplicity in all things. Just because you have money doesn't mean you should start living extravagantly. In fact, the Buddha's teachings remind us that happiness comes from within, not from external possessions. Avoid moving to a luxurious neighborhood or buying flashy cars for your family. These things only invite further attachment and suffering. Instead, focus on maintaining a simple life. Yes, you can use your wealth to make things more comfortable, but don't let it dictate your happiness. In Buddhist teachings, we are reminded that true contentment comes from simplicity and balance. Use your wealth to bring balance, not excess. 8. Avoid lending or investing in friends' ventures. Guard against emotional attachment. When people find out about your newfound wealth, they will inevitably come to you asking for money. They may have business ideas or personal problems that they think your money can solve. But just as the Buddha warned against attachment to worldly desires, lending money to friends or family can often lead to strained relationships and emotional pain. Protect yourself and your relationships by politely declining. Your money is your safety net, and just like the teachings remind us to guard against distractions on the path to enlightenment, you must guard your wealth against emotional manipulations. Have you ever lent money to a friend or family member and regretted it? Or maybe it worked out well. Let's discuss the challenges of lending money in the comments. 9. Don't start a business right away. The illusion of control. It's tempting to think that once you have money, starting a business is the next step to grow that wealth. But just as the Buddha taught that desire can cloud our judgment, the illusion of control can lead you into financial disaster. 9 out of 10 businesses fail, and you've already exhausted a great deal of your luck just acquiring this money. It's essential not to let overconfidence lead you down the wrong path. Start small. Take the time to meditate on your decisions, seek guidance from financial experts, and be patient. In Buddhism, we're reminded that haste leads to suffering. Don't rush into risky ventures. Think of business as a seed. Nurture it carefully, and with mindfulness it may grow. But never force it, or you may end up with nothing. 10. Prepare for change. Embrace impermanence. With great wealth comes great change, and as we know from Buddhist teachings, change, or anicca, is an inevitable part of life. However, not all change brings peace. People around you may begin to act differently, and some may try to take advantage of your newfound fortune. Understand that having wealth can make you a target, whether through lawsuits, scams, or people trying to manipulate you emotionally. Practice mindfulness in these moments. The Buddha taught us that true peace comes from within, not from material success. Stay grounded, protect yourself legally, and remember that your financial situation doesn't define you. What matters most is how you respond to the changes that wealth brings. 11. Focus on your health, physical and spiritual well-being. In the midst of managing wealth, it's easy to forget that the most valuable asset you have is your health. The Buddha always stressed the importance of balance in all things. This includes the balance between material well-being and physical health. Now that you have financial freedom, prioritize your health. Get a full medical checkup, start eating mindfully, and develop a routine that nourishes both your body and spirit. Invest in wellness, not just wealth. Whether it's through yoga, meditation, or simply eating better, taking care of your body ensures that you can enjoy the fruits of your fortune for as long as possible. What health routines would you invest in if money weren't an issue? Drop your ideas in the comments and let's inspire each other to live healthier. 12. The 5% rule, the middle way of spending. The Buddha taught us the importance of walking the middle way, avoiding both extremes of excess and deprivation. The 5% rule for wealth management follows this principle. The idea is simple. Invest your money in such a way that it generates a 5% return annually, and then only spend that return. By the way, how do you personally practice balance in your life when it comes to finances? Do you follow any rules, like the 5% rule, or have your own method? Let's exchange wisdom in the comments. This method ensures that your wealth will last potentially forever, just like a tree that bears fruit year after year. As long as you care for it, it will continue to provide. But if you get greedy and start cutting into the tree itself, you'll lose the fortune and the benefits it brings. Practice restraint and let the wisdom of this rule guide your spending. 13. Protect your children from the money, guarding against attachment. Wealth can be both a blessing and a curse, especially for your children. In Buddhism, we often speak of attachment and how it leads to suffering. If your children grow up thinking they are entitled to wealth, they may become overly attached to material things, losing sight of what truly matters. One way to protect your children from the negative effects of wealth is to set up a trust. This ensures that they receive an allowance or support without having direct access to the full fortune. In this way, you can help them avoid the attachment that could lead to greed or complacency, guiding them toward a more balanced and mindful life. 14. Stay faithful to your partner. Practice right intention. This step should go without saying, but when money enters the equation, temptations can increase. Buddhist teachings emphasize right intention, which means making choices that lead to harmony and reduce suffering. Wealth should bring your family closer, not drive you apart. Temptations, whether they are emotional or physical, can be costly, not only financially, but also in terms of relationships. Divorces, lawsuits, and the loss of trust can take away far more than money. Stay faithful and grounded in your relationship and let your wealth enhance the love and support within your family, not destroy it. 15. Play it safe. Live with non-attachment. Finally, remember to play it safe. The Buddha taught us the value of non-attachment, and this extends to wealth as well. Don't be tempted by risky investments or the desire to double your money quickly. That path is filled with uncertainty and often leads to suffering. Accept your fortune as it is, a blessing that can provide comfort and security if treated mindfully. Instead of seeking more, be content with what you have. Express gratitude for the abundance you've received, and trust that the universe will continue to provide if you live in balance. The best course of action is to behave as though nothing has changed. Your financial problems are solved, but your approach to life should remain consistent with the Buddhist teachings of simplicity, mindfulness, and non-attachment. In this way, your wealth will grow and take care of you as long as you don't let it control you. As a special bonus for those who stayed with us until the end, we want to talk about a final principle, the law of averages. In Buddhism, this is closely related to the concept of karma and balance. Whenever luck or fortune comes your way, it's important to remember that life naturally seeks equilibrium. Highs are often followed by lows, and vice versa. Wealth, much like life itself, is impermanent. By living mindfully, practicing non-attachment, and maintaining balance, you can ensure that this fortune serves you well rather than becoming a source of suffering. Stay mindful, stay balanced, and you'll be just fine. Thank you for watching. If you found this content helpful and insightful, make sure to subscribe to Buddhaverse for more videos on how to align your life with the principles of mindfulness and inner peace. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this and drop a comment below. What would you do if you suddenly came into a fortune? How would you use mindfulness to guide your decisions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, wealth doesn't define you, peace of mind does. Until next time, stay mindful, stay balanced, and may you walk the path of wisdom.